The microeconomics, we'll go through supply and demand today. So the market, buyers and sellers interact in the market. The interaction of buyers and sellers determines what price will be for the good and service. So how much do buyers want? How much are sellers willing to provide? And then in most economic diagrams, the y-axis is price and x-axis is quantity. So that's usually how it's graphed. And then the demand is the quantity of a good or service that buyers are willing and able to purchase at a particular time/price. Demand is inversely related to price. So as price increases, the quantity demanded decreases. And as price decreases, the quantity demanded increases. So the shape of the curve is caused by the income effect. So when the price is lower, we have more purchasing power. Our income goes further. Substitution effect, when the price rises, consumers seek out alternatives. Marginal utility effect, when the price decreases, their satisfaction increases. So if price changes, there's a movement along the curve. That is, you're moving from one point to another. So the movement along the curve is caused by a shift in the other curve. And if there's a change in non-price determinant factor of demand, there's a shift of the curve. So shift to the right/up means that demand is increasing. Shift to the left/down means that demand is decreasing. So non-price determinants of demand. Non-price determinants cause shifts in the demand curve. Substitution effect. We buy different goods when prices rise or fall. So complements are goods we use together, printer and ink. These goods are used together. So if the price of printers decreases, this will cause an increase in the quantity demanded, as per the law of demand. This will cause an increase in demand for ink. And then substitutes are goods you use instead of each other. So Coke and Pepsi. So if the price of Coke increases, the quantity demanded of Coke would decrease, and then this would increase demand for Pepsi. So what can you think of any complements? Do you have any examples of complements you can think of? So Sheik, do you want to try that? Are there any complements you can think of?
Cereal and milk.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, cereal and milk. Cereal and milk. Price of cereal goes down. Quantity demanded of cereal goes up. Demand for cereal goes up. Great job. And then can anyone think of any substitutes? Does Fareed want to try?
Yeah, for example, it can be an ice cream or buying a yogurt and freezing it.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, ice cream and frozen yogurt. That's good. So if the price of ice cream goes up, quantity demanded of ice cream goes down. Frozen demand for frozen yogurt goes up. Good job. Great examples. So these are a lot of examples of so there's a lot of examples. So it's complements, printers and ink, bread and butter, tennis racket and tennis ball, toothpaste and toothbrush, cereal, milk, cars and tires, pen and paper. Substitute cell phone and laptop, eyeglasses and contact lenses, tea and coffee, Monster Energy drink and Red Bull, Coca-Cola and Pepsi, McDonald's, Burger King, ebooks and physical books, tea and coffee, Netflix and Disney, ice cream and frozen yogurt. So complements move in the same direction. A decrease in demand / quantity demanded of one good means that there's a decrease in the other. Substitutes move in opposite directions. A decrease in demand / quantity demanded of one good means there will be an increase in the other. So non-price determinants of demand. Non-price determinants cause shifts of the demand curve. So non-price determinants include income effect. So we can buy more if price falls or less if it rises. Demographics, changes in taste and expectations. So inferior good would be an example of craft dinner. We buy less of it when we have more income. and we purchase higher quality food. The normal good example would be lobster. If we make more money, we purchase more foods like lobster instead of craft dinner. So that's usually what happens here. So then we'll work on this worksheet, shifts in demand. So that's gonna be our next activity. So here our activity. So you have four options: an increase in quantity demanded, a decrease in quantity demanded, shift right in demand, shift left in demand. So what's the effect on the market for Pepsi if Coke increases its price? Does Maxime want to try on this one?
They buy more Pepsi, demand more Pepsi.
Yes. So shift right in demand for Pepsi. Great job. Then the market for Coke when Coke increases its price. Does Dowert want to try this one?
A decrease in quantity demanded.
Yes. So good job. Decrease in quantity demanded. Because it is price related. Therefore, it wouldn't be a shift. Good job, Maxine. Good try, Darren. And then the effect on the market for coal if the price of petroleum goes down. So does Noreen want to try this one?
A shift right in the demand for coal.
Yes, exactly. Shift right in the demands for coal. That's great. Because it because the price of another good changes. So if the price of another good changes, it's the product's demand could shift. So as long as it's another good, it can shift still. So that's yeah. So but if it's the same good, if it is the same good, it will be quantity change in quantity demanded. And in the market for houses, if the population increases. So does Pavani want to try this one?
A shift, right?
Yeah, shift right in the demand for houses. Yeah. Great job. Then the market for cars, if a recession causes higher unemployment and reduced wages. Prashant, you want to try this one? Yeah, demand for cars shifts left. That's great. And then the market for iPhone X's after Apple introduces the iPhone 12. So it'd be decreased, it'd be a shift left in demand for iPhone X because it is non-price related. And then the market for tennis balls with the price of tennis rackets increases. Yeah, shift left in the demands of tennis balls because it isn't the same good. And then the market for motorbikes if petrol prices increase. So it's just me. I want to try. Yeah, shift left in the demand for motorbikes. That's great. And then the market for Samsung handphones if Huawei reduces the price for its handphones. Does Cynthia want to try this one? Yeah, shift left in the demand for Samsung and phones. Yep. And the market for electric cars, if the government introduces a carbon tax on owners of cars with petrol engines. Does Sarani want to try this one?
Decrease demand?
So it'd shift right in the demand for electric cars, but yeah, decrease quantity demanded of petrol engine cars. Yeah. Thanks, Sarani. And then the market for hotel rooms in Beijing if hotels lower their room rate. Does Ashik want to try 11? So it would be a increase in quantity demanded.
Sir, can you go back to the top of the sheet, please, from number 1?
Sure.
Thank you.
No problem. So I'll post this in in Blackboard for everyone. Yeah.
You said we're supposed to complete the quiz on Sunday at level 59, before level 59?
Yes, so it's open today if you want to do it today or if you want to do it until Sunday. So whenever you want to do it, it's whatever time works. So I'll post the I'll so I'll show you where I'll post the completed worksheets for today. I'll show you where it's going to be. So I'll post show you where it's going to be. So here, I'll share my screen here. So the completed worksheets will be right here under learning content. So go to learning content in Blackboard. And then it will be at the bottom of learning content under completed worksheets January 27th. So that's where we'll be. We won't get through all those worksheets. Some of it we'll have to leave to another day. But yeah, we will complete some of those for today. So supply is the quantity of goods such service that sellers are willing and able to offer for sale at a given time / price. So supply is directly related to price. As price increases, the quantity supplied increases. As price decreases, the quantity supplied decreases. So movement along the curve is price related. So movement along the curve is price related. Quantity supplied change. And the shift along the curve is non-price related. Demand, supply change, supply shift. So non-price determinants of supply include cost of factors of production, new technology, number of sellers in the market. Yeah, so if the cost of factors of production go down, the supply shifts right. Then if new technology is created, the supply shifts right. If there are more sellers in the market, the supply shifts right. So here, the equilibrium price where quantity demanded equals quantity supplied. This is how prices are determined in the market. So if the equilibrium price is $5, this means that hamburgers will sell for $5 in the market. So here, this would be a surplus. This would be where supply is greater than demand. So what do you think needs to happen to the price to correct this surplus here? Akash, do you want to try?
Decrease the price?
Yes, exactly. Decrease the price. Good job. So the price would just go down to equilibrium here. Yeah. So real life surpluses are when producers don't do a good job of guessing what consumers will want. So there's too much produced, too much inventory. So that would be an issue with these types of products like vegetables because they go bad, right? And then what if the price is too low? $3 hamburger. So demand is greater than supply. So what do you think needs to happen to the price to correct this shortage? So does Ashik want to try? Yeah, price will increase. Good job. So price will increase. Yep. And then real life shortages, natural disasters, fads, toys, celebrity endorsements. So natural disasters, like for example, drought in an area that grows vegetables will lead to shortage. So that'd be a good example of that. So then the next activity, we will do the supply and demand thinking activity. So immigration and high birth rate have increased the population of Cambodia by 10% since 2015. What would happen to demand and supply here? So does Dowrett want to try this one? Yes, exactly. Demand for food would increase and quantity supplied of food would increase. Yeah. And then the effect on the market for wool jackets if the price of leather increases 25%. So the demand for wool jackets would increase and the quantity supplied of wool jackets would increase. And the market for clothes, if increased automation makes the industry more efficient. Just for read word try. Yes, supply will increase. And quantities demanded will increase. And the effects on the motorbike market in China. If a Japanese producer announces plans to build 10 motorbike factories in China. Does Maxi want to try this one?
Motorbike will increase
Yes,
the supply, but yeah.
supply motorbikes would increase, yeah. And then the market for soy oil, if Chinese producers experience a sustained drought. Does Pavani want to try this one?
Supply would decrease.
Yes, supply would decrease, yeah. And in the market for cars, if a recession causes an increase in unemployment. Yeah, demand.
Supply
demand for-
would decrease. Demand for cars would decrease.
Yeah. And the market for Pepsi, if Coke increases its price.
Demand increase for Pepsi.
Yeah. Demand for Pepsi would increase, yeah.
Increase.
And then the motorbike market, if the government lowers the age to drive motorbikes to 14. Does Prashani want to try?
Supply would increase.
So demand for motorbikes would increase, but could try. Yep. In the market for petrol powered cars, if the government introduces a carbon tax on petrol, what would happen? It's just me, I want to try. Yeah, demand.
Supply would increase.
So demand for petrol powered cars would decrease. And then the market for tennis balls, the price of tennis rackets would increase. So does Sith, you want to try this one? Yeah, demand for tennis balls would decrease. Yep. In the market for good tomatoes, if the price of beans increases significantly.
Demand for potatoes would increase.
Yeah, exactly. And then the market for houses if the population increases.
Demand would increase.
Yes. And then the market for pork in China as a result of African swine flu leading to death of many swine herds.
It will decrease.
Yes. Demand for pork would decrease. And also supply of pork would decrease due to the reduction of herds, and then demand would decrease because of fear of the virus. And then the market for solar energy, after studies conclude that fossil fuels, coal and oil, are causing acid rain that is damaging the environment in China.
Market for solar energy
Demand
would
would
increase.
decrease.
So solar energy demand would increase,
Decrease.
and then fossil fuel demand would decrease.
Correct.
So they would shift the demand to solar. So good job, everyone. That was great. The quantity demanded. What's quantity demanded? service that customers are willing and able to purchase at a specific price within a specified time. Then what's supply? The amount of goods and services that producers are able and willing to sell at various prices during a specific time. What's demand? Indicates various quantities of goods that the consumer are willing and able to buy at different possible prices during a particular time. Then what's supply? How much of a good or service producer is going to be able to produce at particular prices. And during a recent snow-slush ice storm, the demand for Netflix will happen. Increase due to increase in consumer costs. Demand schedule. What's demand schedule? A list or table which shows the relationship between the price of a good or service and demand. During a power outage due to the storm, the demand for candles, what would happen with the demand for candles? Increases due to consumer preferences. And what's a surplus? Situation where quantity of supply is greater than quantity of demand. And then what's profit? Total revenue minus total cost. And the law of demand is the inverse relationship. And what's a shortage? Situation in which quantity demand is greater than price value. And what's a demand curve? A graph of the relationship between the price of a good and the quantity of demand. Then what's surplus? When quantity supply is greater than quantity demanded, the price above market equilibrium. What's a price floor? Minimum price that can be charged for goods and services set by the government. And what's a demand function? Mathematical relationship with quantity demanded of a good or service determined by price. The change in price causes a change in what? Quantity demand. And then what's a shortage? When quantity demand is greater than quantity supply due to price below market equilibrium. And what's price ceiling? Maximum price that can be charged for goods and services set by the government. And what's excess demand? When quantity demand is greater than supply. And the demand and supply schedule show what? Type of information is part of that. So good job, everyone. Great job. Great job, everyone who played. Excellent work. So great game, everyone, on that. That was great. So now let's get to our next thing here. So we'll go through market structures now. So we've talked about the free market economic system. In a free market economic system, different types of market structures exist. So business structures, there's sole proprietorship, which is one owner, partnership, which is several owners, limited companies, public versus private, owned by shareholders. Public limited company is listed on the stock exchange, publicly traded, minimum 7 members. Private limited company is not listed on the stock exchange, not publicly traded, minimum 2 members. What is a market structure? So market structure is based on the amount of competitors, market control, the competition, product offered, and barriers to entry. So monopoly has the highest market control and the lowest amount of competitors. And then perfect competition has the least market control and the most competitors. Market control goes up when competitors go down. So perfect competition. Perfect competition is a theoretical market structure. So there's a large number of firms, identical product, no product differentiation. No producer or consumer has the market power to influence prices, easy access to production technologies. Firms may enter or exit the market as it wishes, no barriers to entry. So agricultural goods would fall under this. So perfect competition is the most competitive market structure. So the good thing about perfect competition is most efficient. So perfect competition is most efficient. Lowest prices for consumers. Then monopolistic competition. So monopolistic competition is a competitive market, large number of competitive firms. Every firm has a small part of the market share. There's few barriers of entry and exit. Producers have a degree of control over price. Product differentiation, non-price competition usually is what sets them apart. So in order to compete, they have to advertise, do free gifts, packaging, etc. So they have to do a lot of non-price competition and product differentiation to compete. So examples include clothing stores, restaurants, salons, phone cases, snack foods, and toothpaste. So these companies differentiate their product through location, being convenient, services, free delivery, 24 hours, etc., reputation. They do advertising to show the differences between their product and the competitor's product and show the product's advantages and to consumers. So how would you sell this pair of headphones and how would you differentiate it to convince consumers to buy it? Does a cash run a try? What would you do to make it so people would buy it?
Have different features. So like
Yeah,
the
that's great. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, different features, adding unique features. Yeah, those are good reasons. Then oligopoly is a market that has only a small number of firms, each have a large share of the market. So there's a lot of barriers to entry. So Noreen giving something as a promotion, that's a good answer too. So oligopolies include the car makers, so GM, Ford, Daimler, Chrysler, Benz. Yeah, target youth, that's a good one for differentiating your product. That's great. Then athletic shoes, Nike, Reebok, New Balance, Adidas, cereals, Quaker Oats, General Mills, and Kellogg's. TV networks, NBC, CBS, ABC, and Fox. Then chewing gum, light bulbs, photocopiers, and sewing machines have oligopolies too. So we'll skip Prisoner's Dilemma here, come back later to it. So monopoly is when there's only one provider of a product or service. So the product is usually unique. There's no substitutes, and there's no economic competition. So many barriers to entry. So natural monopoly is something that it doesn't make sense to have competition. So these things here don't usually have competition because these industries don't usually have competition because the systems that run these things require one organization to own the whole grid. Competitors couldn't own parts of the grid. So the government has to run these industries in order to keep prices low for consumers. So they're usually run by government because that's the only way it makes sense. It can't be run by a private company. The problem is if these were to be run by a private company, the prices would be too high for consumers and people wouldn't be able to afford it. There would be no competition. That would be a big issue with this. So geographic monopolies are when there's only one company that provides a good or service in a small town. So you may only have one choice of a place because there's no other places nearby. So then there's other monopolies, including technological monopolies, when a company has a patent over a product. So that happens a lot with pharmaceuticals. So pharmaceuticals, the pharmaceutical company has a patent on a drug technology. BlackBerry has a patent on mobile phone technology. Let's say. And then government monopolies. Sometimes the government will pass laws reserving a specific trade, product, or service for government agencies. So, for example, water, postal service. So, why do you think the government would pass laws like this? So, does Sheik want to try?
to keep out competition and allow price to remain low so that individuals can afford it.
Yes, exactly, Maxine. That's a good answer. Noreen, yeah, that's a good answer, Noreen. So yeah, keeping things cheap and competitive. Protect the consumers. Yeah, great answers. Yeah, they do that just to keep prices low and to protect consumers. And yeah, just it's mostly about consumer protections. The government is most concerned with consumer protections. So monopolies versus consumers. So monopolies are usually terrible for consumers. This is because they restrict quantity/quality and high prices. There's a lot of ethical issues. Medicine companies set their prices extremely high in the US. Restriction of competition, this is illegal. Monopolies may offer different prices to different consumers, different locations, etc. So senior citizens discounts, veterans, student pricing. This can be either good or bad. Price discrimination. So the price discrimination is a big problem. So they may charge a higher price. So with price discrimination, they will charge a higher price to someone if they have a higher demand for a product or need it more. So that's a big problem because they may not be able to afford the product based on this. So that's a big problem that happens. So that's a huge issue that does happen. And I think I'll show a video to everyone about price discrimination. So so price discrimination is a big problem. And I'll show you a video of more very unethical. So government interference. So what's best for the company is not always best for somebody else. That's why the government tries to make competitive competition laws and antitrust laws. So the government wants competition because it'll keep prices low for consumers. So other issues that may need government interference, planned obsolescence, government interference needed but not existent. So that's planned obsolescence is, for example, Apple makes their old iPhones not run anymore because they want you to buy the new iPhone. So that's what planned obsolescence is. Environmental issues. The government implements environmental regulations and carbon tax to reduce pollution. Unhealthy products, the government puts taxes on unhealthy products to discourage use. And then privacy concerns, the government enforces privacy regulations to prevent misuse of consumer data. And then also the government enforces worker protections to reduce workplace accidents and mistreatment. So then cost curves for profit maximizing firms. When we're looking at market structures, we should think about what are the firm's priorities. What's priority of a firm in the free market? Profit. What does it look like in a diagram? So fixed costs are costs that are constant and do not change the quantity of goods produced. Variable costs are costs that change depending on the quantity of goods produced. So examples include raw material costs, piece rate, labor, and delivery costs. Total cost equals total variable cost plus total fixed costs. Average total cost equals total cost of a total quantity produced. Marginal cost, the cost of producing one additional unit of good. Average cost is the average cost of producing one good, also called average total cost, ATC. Marginal revenue is MR, the additional money received from producing such selling one more unit of the good. Demand equals average revenue, AR. The average money received when producing such selling one more unit of the good. Total profit equals average revenue minus average cost times quantity. So, law of diminishing marginal returns. Once, when you get to a certain point, you can't, you're at the maximum level of production. And then if you add more production, there's smaller and smaller increases in output. So that's what happens here. And then also profit maximizing point, that's when MR equals MC. So marginal revenue equals marginal cost. And it would be right here at this point, and that's where you maximize profit. And that's when you make the most profit. So you want to be producing at MR equals MC, right there. And then, so to find total, to maximize profit, you set MR equals MC, draw a line down from this point to find the quantity produced, continue line up until it hits the demand AR line, draw a line over from this point to the price. You've now found the profit maximizing price. Break-even point is when the price of the good is equal to the cost to produce it. Marginal cost equals average total cost. Shutdown point is when the firm does not benefit from the continuing production. Average variable cost equals marginal cost. So calculations. Total revenue equals price times quantity. So it's, in this case, price is $130, quantity is 100. So $130 times 100 equals $13,000. Average revenue equals total revenue divided by quantity. So $13,000 divided by 100 in this case equals $130. Marginal revenue is change in total revenue divided by change in total output quantity. So in this case, you do 24,000 minus 13,000 divided by 200 minus 100 equals $110. Total cost equals average total cost times quantity. So 180 times 100 equals $18,000. Average total cost is total cost divided by quantity. So 18,000 divided by 100 equals $180. Average variable cost is total cost minus fixed costs divided by total quantity produced. So 8,000 divided by 100 equals $80. Marginal cost equals change in total cost divided by change in quantity. So 25,000 minus 18,000 divided by 200 minus 100 equals $70. Profit equals total revenue minus total cost. So 13,000 minus 18,000 equals negative 5,000. So what we'll do now is we're going to practice this in an Excel spreadsheet just to see what happens here. So practice all those calculations in an Excel spreadsheet. So how would you calculate marginal costs here? It's a cash run try. Yeah, close. Is ignoring. Good job. There's one more thing we have to do here. So you're right. We subtract those, and then we have to subtract the output. So we divide by the output change. So that's what we do. So good job, Noreen, for doing that. Thanks for doing that, Noreen. And then what would be the average fixed costs here? Does Sheik want to try? So you take total fixed costs and divide it by output here. They do that. So how would you get average variable costs then?
Total variable cost divided by output.
Yes, good job. C2 divided by A2. Great job. And then we'll do that for each. Then how would you get total average total costs? Does Dowrett
Average
want to try?
fixed cost plus average variable cost.
Sorry.
Add all the costs. Average fixed cost plus average variable cost is equal to average total cost.
Yes. So you can add both of these columns together. Yeah, so you can do that. That's great. Great job. So we have everything for that. So then what happens to total fixed costs as the quantity produced increases? Mhm. So it stays the same. So it stays at 500 throughout. Then what happens to average fixed costs as the quantity produced increases? Yeah, decreases. Yep. Then what happens to total variable costs as the quantity of product produced increases?
Increases.
Yes. And then what happens to average variable costs as the quantity produced increases? Yes, increases. Yeah. And then by how much does TVC, total variable cost, increase with each additional quantity produced? Is it constant or does it increase or decrease? Increases. Yep. And then what is it constant? Ugh. Not constant. And then what happens to marginal cost as the quantity produced increases? Why do you think that occurs? So it decreases until output equals 300, then it increases again. I believe it happens because profit is maximized at output equals 300. So that's good practice. Differentiated products are sold by a large number of relatively small producers, in which barriers to new firms entering the market are low. Plus monopolistic competition. Market structure in which a large number of relatively small firms produce and sell identical products, in which if there's no significant barriers to entry into or exit from the industry. That's pure perfect competition. And the degree of competition in a market ranging from many buyers and sellers to few or even single buyers and sellers. That's market structure. A legal entity owned by shareholders whose liability for firm's losses. So that's corporation. Then owners of a corporation, what are they called? Stockholders. Good job. Then a business with 2 or more owners share the firm's profits and losses. Partnership. Then a business owned by one person who receives all the profits and is responsible for what's occurred by the business. Sole proprietorship. Then the owner is personally and fully responsible for all losses and debts of the business. Unlimited liability. Feature of taxation that allows stockholders' dividends to be taxed both as corporate profit and as personal income. That's double taxation. And the owner is reliable only up to the amount of their individual investments. Limited liability. The corporation continues in existence and does not depend on the lives of its owners. So it'll be unlimited life. The situation in which a firm ceases to exist when an owner dies, quits, or sells the business. Limited life. Then the entity responsible for the day-to-day operating decisions of the business. Decision making. It occurs when the income of the business is taxed only once, as in a sole proprietorship. Single taxation. Then, are there many, fewer, one seller of the product? The more sellers there are, the less control over price. Are there any obstacles that prevent other firms from barriers to entry? Then when a firm has complete control over price, what's that called? %, price setter. The ownership structure of a company or firm. Business organization. A market structure in which a large number of firms all produce the same products and no single seller controls supplier prices. Perfect competition. Then which of the following is a characteristic of monopolistic competition? Little control over price. Then Buck buys a few shares of stock in aircraft every payday, then sells the stock to finance a new company. What type of market structure is Buck in with his stocks? It's a perfect competition. One role of the federal government's Justice Department is to what? Break up monopolies. Which is not one of the 4 conditions of perfect competition?